remember, and we have to repeat that every day, that we are recording our study groups. If by any chance any of you do not feel comfortable showing your face, your name, it's very easy to remove the name and your frame from the recording. Okay, so we continue with Joanna de Angelis, the book Alert. Why is not share the book Alert? And today we are in lesson 8, cooperation. As always, remember that Joanna de Angelis normally starts setting the tone on what she wants to, the message that she wants to make us alert, you know. And after she starts showing ways for us to practice the content of the message, the objective of the message. Again, I have the text is in both Portuguese and English to facilitate reading for some if you so prefer. Your cooperation. Your neighbor also needs everything that is valuable to you in life. Grant your neighbor the treasure of your cooperation, irradiating thoughts of kindness and affection toward them. No one lives without the miracle of cooperation. Even if you do not notice, everything and everyone cooperated for you to live and grow toward the goal for which you were born to achieve. Your neighbor, correspondingly, does not do without your positive thoughts or cordiality. Unquestionably, there are individuals who exhibit aspects that may make them antipathetic to coexist. Nonetheless, it is necessary to involve them in your vibrations of tenderness. Similarly, you also express without noticing psychic manifestations that make you unfriendly or disagreeable to others. You would like for your neighbor to dissimulate the difficulties and limitations that they have and offer you an agreeable and cordial reception. Therefore, behave in the same way in regards to those whom you find disagreeable. Well, we could stop here, right? There's so much for us to talk about here. So, first of all, she's inviting us to think about the idea of cooperation. There is no such a thing as I'm self-sufficient. We're not. Even if you think that you are going to withdraw from the world, live in the desert, in the mountains, you will still need the cooperation of the rain, of the sun to survive, of the eventual plants that are going to feed you or animals. You will still need the cooperation of works from the creation. So to imagine that when we are isolated, even now in times that we are kind of as isolated, we're not. We have this possibility of communicating because someone put all of this to work and keep on feeding it with the possibility for us to use this tool. We have electricity and water and Wi-Fi and food delivery. Someone is doing that, right? Or people that keeps on working. So I think from the beginning, she establishes that we need and we have cooperation. Okay. And when she talks here, your neighbor also needs everything that is valuable to you in life. She's not talking about the neighbor next door, okay? She's talking about the neighbor next door as well, but she's talking about everyone. For us to think that everyone needs the same thing that we need. Everything that we think that is important for us to survive, to make us happy, to help us to cope with the difficulties of life is the same thing for each and every one, regardless of nationality, of ethnicity, gender, regardless of anything. It's if you are a human being, an incarnate spirit, we all need the same basic things. Okay, well, there are things that we do believe we need, and we try to make that a reality. We are not talking about the superfluous, we are talking about the real necessities of life. We need affection, for instance. We all need affection. We all need attention somehow. You know, it can be to a minimum, but we do need appreciation as well, right? All of those things. So she explains quite clearly here, no one lives without the miracle of cooperation. We cannot survive, not only from the spiritual, emotional aspect, but even from the physiological aspect, because we do not master everything. And even if we are capable to do everything to maintain our physical body alive, still there would be things related to emotions, to feelings that we need, and we depend on others to fulfill our uh, our needs in this sense. Um, and it's important that she says, even when we are not thinking about, it's like, you have a banana at home and you think, wow, the banana magically appeared here in my kitchen. No, there is a whole process for that banana to uh, to come to your kitchen, right? Or for the milk you're drinking. So there is a whole process. But here is when she comes and talks about something that is very, very important, which is the energy that we irradiate with our thoughts, be them positive or negative. Of course, we are aiming for positivity. We want, to be able as much as possible to maintain our thoughts on a positive level, on a cordial level, especially when we are talking about, relationships. But we do understand that unfortunately there are people that trigger the worst in us. And this is where the challenge lies. When we, at this point in time, with all the knowledge and understanding of spirituality we already have, not being capable of taming our emotions, our irradiations. So she's saying here, there will always be those that you will have a negative reaction. It's almost like we have like a sort of, allergy to some people. You don't feel good in your skin, right? It's like, you even perhaps may feel some rashes coming, or spiritual rashes. But what she's calling our attention here too is, listen, if you going through that, it doesn't mean that the other person is not going through the same process. And every energy, all the energy that you are, the vibe, okay, that you're sending in their direction, it will resonate in them, and it's not going to help at all for them to change their attitude towards you. So it's like we will keep feeding each other in this, role of energy that will not propitiate, not even indifference, because sometimes we say, okay, there is this person that I do not like, so what do? I avoid talking to that person, seeing that person as much as I can. Okay, it does help. But if it is still in your mind, if you're still thinking, and if you're still thinking with resentment, you may be not be physically next to this person, but you are spiritually connected to this person, and you are, without realizing, feeding this energy of antipathy. So if we want things to change, it has to start with us, because then, even if the person is resonating negativity towards you, or is sending, it's not going to make an impact. It's not going to find a field ready to receive all the negativity that may come. Okay. So questions, comments?
Sada. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and I'm thinking that, God is great. He puts us on this planet uh, among family, friends. We're surrounded with people. We can't live without them.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it that they say? No man is an island. You
Yeah.
can't live. You can't live alone. You just can't. No matter how much you hide yourself and think that you can do it on your own. No, we need, like you said, we need this affection. We need this intimate, not intimate, but relationships with people. Doesn't necessarily have to be, oh, they have to come home and they come to your home and eat dinner with you. No, but you want uh, this reflection of hello, how are you, a smile now and then, a chat, a talk, how are you? We need that no matter what. It's amazing what our Father has done. We put us on this earth because we're here to
Mm-hmm.
live among people, and we have to work with that no matter what. We have to, like she says here so clearly, you have to cooperate. You can't live without that. You just can't.
Yes, absolutely. Anyone else? I think it's this message is beautiful, to make us realize, the importance even of the law of society when we study in the Spirit's book, part 3, where we have the subdivisions of the law of nature, and the law of society is one of them. Emmanuel as well has several messages where he talks about it, how we are codependent. uh, Emmanuel has a phrase that he says that, uh, it takes, how is that exactly the phrase, but that, being perfected, it's the sum up of, centuries and centuries of, going into this direction. But even then, he doesn't mention anything that make us believe that we can dispense uh, with cooperation. Even if we think about God, from what we understand until now, we understand that God is the intelligent, not the is the supreme being, uh, and responsible for everything. But here and there, at least in the spiritualist literature, we see that God utilizes co-creators, messengers, So not even God is dispensing when talking about the work of the creation of the participation, so to say, because it's not help, it's not assistance, of course, but the participation of other beings, more evolved, of course. We commonly say that Jesus, for instance, is responsible, is the governor of our planet, and it was even responsible for, the creation, the participation in the creation of our planet. So we see that even God is giving us, uh, you know, a teaching of cooperation. It's not because you may believe you master something that you can dispense with the assistance of others. Okay. Anything else, or should we go on? Okay. Cooperate with God in the edification of irreprehensible goodness, and do not excuse yourself from the labor of kindness or the contribution of friendship. No one survives without the assistance of affection from one another, just as no life can develop without the air from which it nourishes, save only the anaerobic bacteria of brief existence. Brick by brick, a structure is raised. Grains unite in the silence of the ground. Therein, a luscious harvest is born. Molecules aggregate themselves, and the galaxy spreads itself into the infinite. So it's basically what we were saying before. And it's interesting when she says here, do not excuse yourself from the labor of kindness or the contribution of friendship. It is so easy for us just to say, you know what, that person is so uh, uh, nasty to me, right? I don't feel inspired to respond otherwise, Now she's saying us, this is not an excuse. You should be better. You should understand better. And here also comes a point that is always very important. We don't know what the person is going through. Like, for instance, today, I've been seeing that at the same time that we have a lot of compassion, thinking about everyone going through the same problems that we are facing during the pandemic, the same difficulties. Sometimes we do not realize that although they may have things that we don't, and because of that, we think that they are going through this better than we are, they may be facing other much more difficult challenges. So let's say that we lack a job and that we have financial struggle for the moment. And then we see people that have been not in the same situation, okay, that they have money, they are very comfortable financially speaking. And then for somehow we envy those people, and we may even say, oh, they have no reason to complain. They have it easy. But they may have been going through emotional difficulties that if we were to choose, perhaps we would choose the financial struggles. Like, they may have, ah, sorry, they may have a child that is with drug abuse. They may have a partner that is going through a tremendous struggle with any mental uh, problem, dealing with depression, with the desire of, contemplating suicide. Um, I know friends that have been having their parents ill, and because of the pandemic, you cannot travel, you cannot be there for them. And so we have to think about it, because it's always very easy for us to go with the saying, the the grass is greener, right, on the other side of the fence. Not necessarily. And so many times, because we do not know, we expect we expect from people reactions that for the moment they are not capable of giving us. And we should be the ones doing it. And if we could see what they go through, we would feel ashamed not to offer a helping hand. Um, so here, this exchange of affection, of interest for one another, like Joanna de Angelis is saying here, is vital, crucial for our survival. It's like the air that we breathe. Okay? Questions, comments? I know I talk a lot, but you should talk as well. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, in
It's
terms.
interesting
Mm-hmm.
that you mention there are so many challenges in life that we are totally unaware of, and it affects everybody differently.
Mm-hmm.
Someone you see that appears to be happy may be dealing with many, many problems that you're unaware of.
Yeah.
And if you had those problems, you'd be in bed crying.
Yes. The other day, I was talking to a group of friends that we do some charitable work together, and then I said, listen, we need to talk a little bit. I know that we are always committed to do something for others, but we cannot forget that we are others as well, and we are all going through stuff. And I think we should hear each other, listen, like talk to each other. And then one of them that has lost her mother recently due to COVID, mentioned something about the loss of her mother. And then I remember when it happened, like about 2 months ago, and her mother was 94. So what is the um, let's say the usual reaction? You hear someone's parents, they are 94, 95, dying, you say, okay, it was time already, enough already, right? So I myself, I felt really bad, thinking, of course, I was supportive to her, but not as much as I could, just because on the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, like, she had to go from something, right? That was it. And it was so insensitive. And then I said, listen, how, even when you are thinking that we are on top of it and we are paying attention to it, we do not know. And I mean, the loss of a parent is always very difficult, very traumatic. I know I went to the loss of both my parents. But you see, all the other aspects in her life, as far as I know, is good. But she went through that, the trauma of losing a mother all of a sudden. Her mother didn't live here. She couldn't go to see her mother. She couldn't attend the funerals and all of that. So it was right at the beginning where they were doing Zoom for funerals. And here I am thinking, oh my God, we have to be very vigilant. We really have to pay attention to our reactions and to how we try to measure from our understanding the suffering or the happiness of others, right?
It's so true when you say to see the sadness and the happiness of the others. Sometimes we judge people, or they're happy, oh, they're okay, there is no problem, it's okay, oh, you talk about that because you have everything. And it's true, we have to see and pay attention of our thoughts, the energy we are emanate in both ways, it sadness or happiness. Is really interesting, it's really good topic today, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and what I was going to say, I forgot. Uh, what was it? I don't remember now. Sorry.
This is one of those topics that I think relates to people who commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
We think we see what they're going through, but we don't. Even if they're living right next to us, we often have no real clue to what's happening.
And it's an important topic to talk about because we are just starting the Yellow September, right? Month for the prevention of suicide. It has been, the numbers have been staggering this year, much more than previous years. So this is what we are seeing. We are seeing crying out for help, and perhaps even because we are not being able to be together as much, and because we are all worried about our own situation, trying to survive in such a challenging times, that we are missing the opportunity of giving something to others, and perhaps even saving them from much more complicated situations. Yes, absolutely.
And that covers all the ages. I
Mhm.
just I was back home, and then I went to a family member, and the child is 10 years old, and he's so depressed, and he was trying to cut the string of the window, and he
Ah,
was saying that, oh, I'm cutting because I wanna be free. But he is in the 11th floor. Be free,
okay.
that means something else.
Yes.
And I'm talking about 10 years old child, and his mom is a psychologist. She's aware, she's helping, but sometimes even in our household, we don't see what's going on. It's
Yes.
hard.
Hmm. Oh, I remember what I was going to say before. I was going to say that if we look at Instagram and Facebook, everyone is happy. Right? And but this is not exactly what is going on, even in those times, but it's not what's going on. Okay, let's continue here. Give your cooperation, even if it seems something small to you. In doing so, avoid the imposition of your passion and ways, since they represent an imposition of what you are supposedly offering. When one offers something to another, they enrich themselves. The pollen dragged by the wind is responsible for fertilization without any imposition on your part. The rain falls generous and spontaneous, sustaining life and invigorating the soil. Do not ever impose yourself. Jesus, when cooperating with humans, without with human beings, without hindering the imperative voice that characterizes his entire message, was clear, and he said, whoever wants to come after me, take up their cross and follow me. He accepted each individual's will within their own condition. Nevertheless, he is the sublime builder of earth and all that exists within it. Cooperate, therefore, with life, promulgating blessings whatever you are, with whomever you meet, as opportunities arise. Reciprocate with love, for the love life offers you. Um, Here, I think Joanna de Angelis is trying to emphasize that sometimes, we say like this, okay, I'm going to help you, but you have to do exactly what I say. I mean, it's not what she's saying here. So let's say that the polling would tell us, okay, I'm going to fertilize the earth, but you have to promise that only when the flower, the fruit is ripe enough, you're going to pick it. And that you are not going to step in any of the things that I have, given my polling to. We cannot dictate conditions for cooperation. We do not judge. Sometimes a person may come to you and say, let's say that I mean, it's a hypothetical hypothesis, hypothetical, of course, that we are on the verge of crossing an avenue, okay? And you have the island from the both ways of the avenue. So a blind person comes to you and say, could you help me cross until the aisle? Like I'm thinking about Park Avenue here. Okay, of this street. And I mean, the first thing that will come to your mind is, why is he not asking me to cross all the way? Because now he's going to be stuck on the middle of the aisle, and there is still halfway for him to go, to really cross the street, to really cross the avenue. And of course we will try to say, no, but I can cross you all the way because it's much better for you. I don't know, maybe he wants to be stuck on the middle of the aisle. Who am I to judge and to say? So you see, according to our vision, we want to impose on others what we think is best for them. And then we say, okay, I will cooperate with you, but you have to do exactly as I say. And this is exactly what Joanna is telling us not to do, right? Just do your part. And remember that when you give, you are more than receiving. So there should be no reason for us even to expect any demonstration of gratitude, because the act per se of goodness towards life, towards others, is enough rewarding for us already, or it should be. And there is no way for us to move ahead without accepting things. Like Jesus is saying here, want to come after me? Take your cross and follow me. Meaning, take all the burdens you have in life. Don't be stuck on them. Delay on feeling sorry for yourself. Just move ahead, because they will all vanish in due time. And any comment or question? Okay, let's go to, oh, that was it. So we have time to comment a bit more. This last part is the last phrase is very important as well. Reciprocate with love for the love life offers you. Um, because we are not aware with that, we always feel, or quite often we may feel, that life is not fair with us. And so we are always on the side of complaining, of thinking that we are not being treated the way we should, um, not seeing and actually taking from granted so many things that we have. Okay, now we are living a very difficult situation of, this virus and fear. But at the same time, we have so many blessings that are happening as well. And we just focus on the negative. We don't just focus on what we don't have versus what we have. And this makes us bitter. We're not saying here that we do not have the right of commenting, of even complaining how hard the situation has been compared to before, but without losing sight that we still have so much more to be blessed, or to feel blessed, than to feel really miserable at the majority of us, perhaps. There are people that may be struggling much more, but even them, they are living, they are having, the gift of life, of forgetting, of forgetfulness of what they did in previous existence, that may have led them to this situation where before incarnation they will say, I don't care, I just need a time of oblivion, and to see if I can reset myself and it start again. But of course, because we do not remember that, things do not feel uh, that fair to us. So it's important for us to keep in mind. And again, we are not saying that we are forbidden to not express our emotions, but again, express your emotions, but always remembering that at the end of the day, there are so much more things for us to feel blessed than to feel just sorry for ourselves. And when things are too hard and too difficult, here comes again the message that we are talking about, that is cooperation. Look for people that can give you some support, even if just with their prayers. We don't need to be there 24/7 to help and assist someone in distress. It's it can be a few minutes. It can be even at distance. So let us think about that, especially from the times we are living, and with what Philip told us. There has been many times, there is many people that are not being capable of coping with the stress of the situation. on top of everything else that they were already facing. And we are not here to judge. The youth, like you were saying, Vera, is feeling that a lot. You know, we can imagine the distress that may be prevailing in so many households where we see parents stressed with such hard times, and children wanting attention and distraction, and the parents, of course, losing their temper because they are not feeling well themselves, and underestimating the problems of the children because, oh, you're just saying being like that because you're missing being at school or with your friends. What about us with adult problems? But adults should have more emotional maturity to deal with things than children, than teenagers. And we are not perhaps being fair with them, just analyzing their problems from our perspective as adults. And this is another thing that we have to be paying attention to. Any other comment?
Always,
Or yes, go ahead,
I
brother.
always say, be careful what you think, because as adults, we have more experience in this life.
Mhm.
But a child may come who is much more insightful, but unable to prove it to you in a way that you understand.
Mhm.
So we have to be very careful with what we think is going on and what we think we know.
Absolutely. Any other comment? Anything that has caught more your attention that you still think we need to stress a bit more, or that you would like to emphasize? Otherwise, it's okay.
Hi, Josada, it's Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Um, I was just, in the theme of cooperation, I can't remember now if it was the New York Times or the Economist, one of those that I read constantly, so I'm not sure which one, talking about how wonderful and the cooperation in the scientific world has been because of the virus. It's been a cooperation level never seen before, and how the progress in this, not only finding the vaccine, but because of the cooperation, the exchange of ideas and different problems that each country was having or each lab was having, and now they're sharing that, that they are forecasting a big jump in science. So, like this session is saying, the cooperation in every level is amazing, right? Maybe the world will see that cooperating will actually bring us to better lives, to better world for everyone. It's quite amazing. And at the same time, the same thing is happening in technology, because everybody's so dependent on technology now. That's an amazing advance in technology. So, those are the positive sides of the virus, right? Of course, we tend to always focus on the negative, what we're losing. But,
Mhm.
I thought this article was excellent, talking about how cooperation actually bringing us so many advancements, which we're all going to reap the benefits in a very near future. That's awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for your contribution. Yeah, and then even when we think in the science level, like you said, it's not just about the vaccine, but other instruments that can prevent us to catch the virus, or thinking about the uh, even improving the AC that they have in places that you will. There's so many things involved. I think
Yeah, of course.
that you're saying, even you know, a simple, from a level of a simple mask, or exchanging strategies that they are using in their lab, in their city, in their countries, and that would otherwise take longer for us to observe the results. Like they say, listen, here in Belgium, we decide to do that, and it seems that our rates are decreasing.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly what they said. You know, the scientific community is very competitive, and they
Yes.
don't necessarily share because, of course, they want to, you know, particularly when they are backing by pharma, they want to get to the result by themselves so they can have better benefits. But
Yeah.
now it's completely different. Everybody wants to help because they want a cure. It's amazing. It's great.
Yes, that's great. Thank you. Anyone else? Let's see what we have for next week is the Word and Jesus. Oh my God, that's going to be a good one. I think, you know, they paying attention to what we say. So don't miss the next chapter. Okay, so I guess we're ready to end our study today. So if Barbara could do the final prayer for us.
Dear discarnate friends and Master Jesus, as once more we are united here, afar but together, to study these words. We like to express our gratitude for the lessons, for the opportunity, for the efforts, all those who worked anyway to make this possible. We like to send our prayers to those who couldn't join us, but that are connected to us in any way. And joining our prayers to the prayers of everyone that have been praying to the healing of earth. We always ask assistance to make good decisions and being an instrument of good, so we can keep walking towards progress and towards Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Now we ask permission to end our studies of this day with the grace of God, and so be it.